All right, the president of Sri Lanka fleeing the country as the island nation experiences the worst economic crisis in decades, and it's self-inflicted. It's fueled by food shortages and agriculture bans. Meanwhile, in Europe, climate activists bring the Tour de France to a halt as they protest the event's pollution levels. So what can we learn? By the way, they're on bikes. So what can we learn from the environmental movement and its impact across the globe? And don't forget about the Netherlands. Fox News contributor, author Douglas Murray joins us here. Douglas, what do they have in common, those events?
Well, both of them are a demonstration of the fact that there's an element of the green movement globally that is simply trying to make the world move too far, too fast on the green agenda. And we've just seen some of the consequences in Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan government fell for a bunch of basically left-wing Western activist ideas about ESG, about environmental issues, including use of fertilizer and much more. And they went so fast on it, that basically much of Sri Lanka's agriculture is not there anymore. Its agricultural industry that used to be so much of the country's export is just not there because they went into the ESG agenda. They got higher markings in all of the international bodies even than Sweden, even than the US in this. And the result is shortages, riots, and eventually the overturning of the government and the Prime Minister having to flee and work from a ship off the coast. Well, it's the same thing with the green activists in Europe and some of the ones we have here in the United States. They all demand the same thing. They say, you've got to get off fossil fuels, or you've got to get off fertilizer, and all these sort of things. But none of their supposed solutions are yet in place. They want us to get off fossil fuels, they want us to get off all of the other things that they deprecate, nuclear and much more. But they don't yet have the green answers that, yeah, you know, maybe we'll have down the road, but we don't now. So, you know, sorry to make the pun about the Tour de France, but they're trying to make us run before we can walk on green. And the results are the sort of things we've just seen in Sri Lanka.
And they're trying to take advantage of the downturn with the pandemic that brought everybody to a halt and kept us in our houses.
Oh, yeah.
And say, this is our moment, but it's not their moment.
It's unbelievable the way these guys do this. Whatever the thing that's going on in the world, they always say, well, this is a great opportunity to advance our green agenda. I mean, go back 100 years to the Spanish flu pandemic. I wonder if anyone then said, you know, this is a terrible worldwide pandemic, but what a great opportunity this is to do something else, like a green agenda. These guys are obsessed with it. It's true that there are questions about fossil fuels, there are questions about energy independence in the future, but the idea that you use every single thing now to get us to the situation that, as you say, we're just not ready for.
They don't want cows. They want us to kill all cows because of the methane that's put into the atmosphere from cows.
They're anti-fertilizer, anti-cow, anti-fossil fuel, anti-much more.
So make us feel better about it. Is the uprising that we're seeing, we're not for coups, but is the uprising we're seeing in the Netherlands, and we're seeing some people sounding off now, the buying up of land by Bill Gates perhaps, is there going to be a backlash that straightens out anybody that wants to stay in power?
Well, look, I think that will happen. Look at what's going to happen later this year with the energy crunch in Europe as well as America. This winter is going to be tough. Administrations like the Biden administration here and administrations across Europe have, as I say, all fallen for this green agenda. They've been having their G7 summits and much more and focusing for years solely on this green agenda. But wait till we get the cold winter in countries like France and Spain and Germany. And you will see, among other things, the Western alliance, not least to do with Russia, starting to splinter. In fact, that's one of Vladimir Putin's expectations. People will have to start buying gas again.
Right. And unless we're prepared to give it to them, they're going to have to go back to Russia or somewhere else. We have to be prepared to do it.
The point is, this all has consequences.
Understood. Douglas Murray, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Great to see you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.